Hello, Mr. Vote and Class of 9A. This is the Michael Scarn Chronicles Chapter 2 Coding Project, created by me, Reed Banta. So the problem, we were tasked with creating a fully functional Android application capable of running on a tablet. Everything else was up to us, the idea of what we were going to make. So I did what I normally do, and I ran to my classmates looking for collaborators. Now, originally, Peyton and Drake were the first two, but Drake decided to move on to a different project that he would like to create himself, and Ryan was eager to jump in for his place. So we brainstormed together to create a fun, original, intuitive, choose-your-own-adventure game, text-based trilogy. And I present to you the Michael Scarn Chronicles Chapter 2, which was my branch of it. So, research. With each of us taking one chapter of a trilogy, it was very important that we had to collaborate constantly to make sure that we had a seamless, smooth plot line while still having very creative, personal storylines. Peyton would create the first, I would create the second, and Ryan would take the third chapter. And I spent a complete 2 weeks in research spanning from how to use an Android Studio GUI, or just how to create a text-based adventure using Java. So research continued in development. So we spent many weeks in planning. Planning consisted of creating a proposal, critiquing that proposal, getting feedback, more critique, and creating a Gantt chart and milestone chart to help track what we did, and then finally code. So this, we gave 2 months, which in my opinion was perfect amount of time to create a fully functional app. If for someone experienced as us, well, it would have been, except for things that went wrong. So my largest issue was with Android Studio and the virtual desktop. First of all, Android Studio had a Gradle that refused to sync, and the virtual desktop was extremely laggy. Sometimes things would refuse to load altogether. But it was my fault because I spent too much time trying to fix this rather than applying time to my base code, which could be used in BlueJ and Android Studio. So I also spent an entire week and a half trying to apply this to MIT App Inventor. So that was my fault. And so if I did this project again, I would try to focus more on my base code, because this caused a lot of stress and extra time used up that should have been applied to creating a GUI. Functionality report. It works, and here's the proof. So we used a series of while loops, and here's just a basic run over of my code, but I'm going to skip to the actual run through of the code. So here it is, and so it's just going to go through and show the choices. This is a text-based adventure, so it gives you different choices and changes the storyline based on your choices. Now, it's going through really quick. I'm showing you the perfect way to go through the game as fast as possible. I used a series of while loops to create this app, and those contain each choice. And so the while loops will jump from one to another depending on the choice that you make, and this is based on the integers that are assigned to them. So that is the basic run through of my code. And so here's my Gantt milestone charts. Here's the largest, this is my milestone chart. It's very basic, but that's what a milestone chart is. It shows basic achievements along the path, and starting from here and continuing through here is my Gantt chart, and this shows very minute details of the entire project and what I hope to have completed and have completed. So my appendices. Here's my Appendix A, Android Studio Tutorials. I've collected 11 tutorials, and these were extremely helpful when coding in BlueJ. Unfortunately, I did not get to create a GUI in Android Studio. My storyboarding. This is my favorite storyboard, and it shows how the story begins. And so that was extremely important. So was flowcharting. Flowcharting combined storyboarding and my Gantt chart, which helped to create a smooth flowing story. My pseudocode. Here we have examples of my pseudocode, and this was helpful when planning my code. Proto.io, this is the expected layout of the app when applied to a Android tablet. Appendix F, sources. Here's all of the sources I used, not including my Android Studio tutorials, which I showed earlier. Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed.